Today we're going to install the Gard kit onto this vehicle behind me. We have laid out here the contents of the kit. We have the model-specific windows cut out on the film. We have hard cards. One hard card appropriate for the vehicle will come in the kit, and we have our instructions. Not included in the kit, we have our spray bottle, our unscented baby shampoo. We have some measuring spoons to help us get the appropriate amount of shampoo, and we have a tack-free cloth for cleaning of the window. Step one, we'll be cleaning the window thoroughly. It's important to also clean the surrounding area around the window, or contaminants from the vehicle can get underneath of your film as you install it. The cloth you use, it's really important that it's tack-free. Leave no small bits of cloth on the window. If you have any sort of ceramic coating or really persistent contamination, you have to use rubbing alcohol to remove all of that before you install the film. If you do use rubbing alcohol, it's really important that you do not use those pre-packaged rubbing alcohol that come in the cloth, because those cloths will leave small flecks on the surface of the window. Okay, in the next step we will be doing what is called a wet check, where we verify the film fits on the window. On all the film, you will see that there's a label, and that is on the liner side. So that's the side that goes against the window. So first we will thoroughly wet the window where we want to install the film. And we just hold it up against the window to verify that we have the correct shape of window. Okay. On the next step, we'll prepare to peel the liner off the back of the film before placing it on the window. One easy way to do this is to spray the window next to the window that we're installing on, so that we can place the film on the window to help hold it while we peel off the film. So before we begin, it's really important to spray your hands thoroughly so that your hands don't leave any fingerprint oils onto the adhesive. And also spray both sides of the film. And now we can begin to find a corner and leave the film against the window. And as you peel, make sure that you keep the film against the window and peel the liner away from the film. This prevents any creases from occurring on the film. And throughout the process, keep spraying the adhesive as well as your fingers as needed to keep them wet, to keep contaminants from getting on the adhesive. Now that we have the film removed from the liner, we're ready to place it onto the window. So again, I'm just throughout this process making sure everything is nice and wet. My hands are wet with the soapy solution, the window is wet, and the film is wet. So we'll go ahead and remove this film, and we place it over the target window. And the soapy solution allows us to move it around to get it just right where we want it. And it's important to make sure that it's not crowding up on any of the weather stripping, and it's not hanging over the front edge here. Now that the film is on the window, it's time to start to remove moisture from underneath the film, between the film and the glass. So again, make sure it's thoroughly wet, spray your hands, spray the card, and you'll begin with very light strokes starting at the center and just pressing some of the moisture out and away from underneath the film. And I'm doing this very gently because if there's any contamination, I don't want to press hard and wrinkle the film. And if you do discover that there is some contamination at this step, you can very carefully peel up the film, remove the contamination, and then spray it again, and then just place the film back on. It's very important if you peel the film up to make sure that it hasn't slid up underneath any of the weather stripping. Otherwise, when you peel it up, it'll wrinkle that edge of the film. So make sure that you slide it to a spot where it's not stuck. Once you have the film on the window, you have about 30 minutes. So you can peel, remove contamination, place it back if you need to, for up to 30 minutes before the adhesive begins to set on the window. So again, I'm starting in the middle, very light strokes, working moisture gently out the edges of the film. Now the film is on the window. It's in the correct place. We've locked it loosely in place. We've squeegeed out some of the moisture. So now we're going to continue to squeegee out all the moisture, and we're going to press gradually harder and harder, increasing our pressure until we have removed all the moisture. So those final steps are going to be pushing very hard. So as always, make sure you use your soapy solution to thoroughly wet the target window and your card. And again, we're going to start in the middle. And I'm increasing pressure a little bit harder than it was in the previous step. Continue to try to press all the moisture out the edges. On larger windows, you can go in a crosshatch pattern. So go in one direction, and then the other direction, and then reverse it. On smaller windows, there may not be enough room for this. So I'm continuing to increase pressure, applying a little more pressure to remove all that moisture from underneath the film. And for the final steps, you'll want to use 2 hands to really apply a lot of force to get all of that moisture out from between the film and the window. It's really not possible to overdo this step. You want to remove all moisture from underneath the window. If the film starts to become dry, you can get your spray bottle again and spray it just to help the hard card glide over the film. On the final step of installation, we're going to once again wet the window. And we're going to pay very careful attention to all the edges of the film, just making sure that they're thoroughly sealed down. And I'm really just pressing on the edge of the film just to make sure that edge is thoroughly sealed to the window. I'm going to cover the entire window, going along the edges. And once I finish the whole window, I'm going to do it a second time because I want to make sure I've done the entire window at least twice. Okay, and then we are finished. And when you finish, you should have a completely translucent film. You shouldn't be able to tell the film is on there at all. It should blend right in with the window. Okay, now that we have finished the installation, it should be totally translucent. You may notice a very tiny amount of haze in a few spots, which should disappear over the next 24 to 48 hours. And it's also important in the next 24 to 48 hours not to take it through any challenging environments, such as a car wash, driving at high speeds in the freeway in the rain, and so on, because the adhesive will take about 48 hours to fully cure onto the glass.